Rob, it's a quick turnaround this week, but Sale Sharks notoriously a tough one on the agenda for any side, especially away from home.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I mean, it's always been a tough game, and yet we've done over the last few years we've done pretty well there. But then at the same time, we've done pretty well at home against Northampton for quite a few seasons, and everything changes, doesn't it? Everything can change at any time. At the moment, I think we're just really looking forward to getting back on the horse. I actually started speaking to some of the lads in the changing rooms on Saturday after the game. And quite a few of them just looked at me and said, I'm just glad it's a short turnaround and we can get back into playing a game of rugby. Just because they had a few frustrations from the game. And that's what it was. It was from frustrations from not taking some opportunities we had to score and potentially just create enough of a gap in that game for it not to be too much of an issue going into the final few minutes. That's understandable. I think that's probably a good emotion. That's probably the best emotion to have, is to get ready to get into a short training week, which I always say to the players, a short training week is a great week for players because you literally get 2 training days in, team run, jump on a bus and off you go, and you get to spend a few hours together in a hotel, and then that's it. You play your game of rugby and you look forward to a long weekend. They're quite nice occasions. You just got to get your head in the right place to play well. I think we've got there and play well, but we've just got to play well enough to win, and they're 2 different things.
You've had 2 really gutsy wins recently at Newcastle and Worcester. It's more of the same, I guess. And you weren't a million miles off against Saints, let's be honest.
Oh, no. I mean, normally your possession and territory stats you can look at those and you can tell if you've won the game. And we did. And yeah, we've lost the game on the scoreboard. That's what's a bit of a frustration for it, because in difficult conditions, we actually did pretty well. Are there things we do improve? Of course, we can improve. Of course, there's some things around the set piece we'd like to improve. But actually, on entries into the 22 and time spent in the 22, we should have won the game and probably won it relatively comfortably. We didn't. That's great credit to Northampton and some of the fight they put on the try line. But it also an indicator that we got a few things wrong in that area, and something we're going to need to work very hard to put right. We will do. That work will get done. But it's not a wheels falling off situation at all. We're second in the Premiership. We're going pretty well. We're in the middle of an international block. There's a lot to look forward to. The weather's going to improve. People will know we're a good team on a firm pitch. People know that part of the wearing down process we do on opposition teams is running them around and moving them around. And we weren't capable of doing that against Northampton the weekend, although we still got all that territory in possession. So there's a lot still going for us, and there's a lot of things we're still looking forward to get into this season. And Sale away is one of those games.
For many years, you've been going to Sale with Steve Diamond in charge. Alex Anderson there now. What are you expecting? A different Sale, or are they pretty much similar?
It's difficult because I'm very aware of this. It takes you can introduce some new ideas quite quickly, but it takes a while for them to embed in a solid way. And I think that's probably what you've seen from Sale. You've seen Alex use quite a large number of players. There's been a fair bit of rotation in the squad over the last few weeks. Whether that's him still looking at all the players or giving everyone an opportunity, or whether it's him looking at a rotation over the period of the season, that's not for me to say. I think that's created a little bit of variable performance. But what you've seen is that some performances of a high level, so against Bristol, particularly defensively, they were fantastic. And you've seen patches in other games where they've looked good in all areas. So where it's hard for us to say what to expect because you don't really know. But that's why in a short week it probably suits us, because we can just focus on ourselves really and just focus on a little bit of improvement we want to make, focus on how we want to play the game, and focus just on the attitude we want to bring on the day, which is probably always the most important thing.
You said you talked to players after the game. Joe Simmons, I'd imagine, was one of them. What have you said to him in the aftermath? Because it was a tough ending to the game.
I haven't said too much, because at the end of the day, I mean, the biggest thing I said to him is, I said, look, stop, don't go looking at this as though you've lost as the game, because you have, it wasn't the kick that was going to win us or lose the game. It could have won us the game, but it would have been a remarkable kick, and probably would it have been the right end to the game. Even now, I'm not sure. I love to take points in any circumstance. Of course, I'd have loved to have scored on the game, and it would have been a fantastic end to the game for us. But that's what it would have been. It would have been a fantastic end to quite a poor game for us. And so that bit doesn't bother me too much. All I said to Joe is, look, you haven't lost us anything. You gave us an opportunity to win when you came on at the end and pull things together for us. I said, don't go beating yourself up over social media or if you've made any mistake. If you've done something you wouldn't normally do, just learn from it and we'll move on. We always have done. And looking at Joe train today and looking at the attitude of the lads, there's no issues from us at this end. There never has been. We don't kind of work along those lines. We kind of work as a collective on what we can all do together and how we can all improve. And the players have their work on for them to improve individually, and we'll just deal with it like any other week. We've lost. I always say our biggest strength here is knowing how to lose. Knowing how to win isn't your biggest strength, really. Knowing how to lose is your biggest strength. And we've known how to lose for a long time, and that's what eventually helped to make us double champions. And we've got to learn how to lose this week, and make us a better team.
You lose boys to international weeks again this week, but also at the same time, on the flip side, you get boys back in the mix, certainly for selection in terms of Jacques Noel, Ben Moon. How important is it to have those sort of guys back in the mix?
Oh, yeah, it's massive. I mean, just looking at the games they've been involved in, even just last season.
Big games.
So if you go, all those guys played in 2 finals for us at the end of the season. They played in 2 semi-finals for us. All of them were involved. So they're obviously important players for us, and they all had very good seasons last season. So obviously makes them important to us. They've been unavailable for a long time. Ben has been available this season, but it feels like it was a long time ago. Nose has not been available at all this season. Jack's not been available at all this season. So, there may be an element of taking them a game or two to get right up to speed, but they both look good in training. As you say, they're both important momentum players for us. They get us momentum in a game, and they stop the opposition getting momentum. And those kind of players are the ones that you build games around. If you can get 15 lads like that on the field, that's when you start to become a very good side. And they're just giving us some strength in important positions that will just help us start that kind of path of improvement that you always want to be on heading towards the end of the season.
You talked about these blocks of games. You put them down to 4 blocks and 4 blocks. 14 from 4 in that first one. The aim is probably similar. If you do something like that, you're going to be there or thereabouts as you wish.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can become over focused on winning, and then you get highs and lows of, it's great when you win and it's awful when you lose. The reality is, it's where you get after each block of game that defines where you get to the end of the season. The last block of 4 games was very good for us. 14 points at 4 games. You always want more, of course you do, but that's not bad. It's not bad from 2 away games, 2 home games. What we've got to do now is establish another block of games, keep collecting points. Just make sure you're always in and around where you need to be, so that things stay in your hands. You never want to be in a scenario where you're hoping someone else loses so you can get in the top 4. We haven't done that for a few years now, and my aim is to make sure we don't drop into that scenario again.